This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to your Monday edition of the afternoon show here live, of course, on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. Go live each and every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 2 o'clock EST, Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be your host, moderator, producer this afternoon, Logan Landers, and with me, of course, my right-hand man, I guess to just the right, left? Which way are we going here? Left? Yeah, so whichever way here. We're going to, there we go. Yeah. Jay McLovin. What's up, Jay?
I was just sitting here imagining how that phone call must have gone. Hello, Shador. Yeah, this is Mickey Loomis, man. We want to let you know you're getting ready to be drafted. No, I'm just fucking with you. You're going in the fifth killer. I mean, it's just. I don't think it gets any better than that. Can we just start off the show with?
I'm okay. I'm good with that. And look to be. And I'm gonna get this out here first and foremost. This is not the first time this has happened. I know people are making it seem that way. This has happened before. I think it happened to Cooper DeJean last year. I forget who the team was, who the person was, but this happened just a year or two ago, and it's happened again. So let's give a little bit of a backlog, of a summary here for those who might not be aware. Jay, we got to lay out the facts, correct? So. Yeah. How it has been presented and with all the information that we currently know as of 2:14 EST on Monday is going to be April the 28th of 2025. It is the son of Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich. I believe his name is Jax Ulbrich, who is a student at the University of Ole Miss. So from what it seems, Jay, that Jeff Ulbrich, the father, the coordinator, had his iPad open at some point in time at home. And, well, Jax was just kind of strolling around the house, maybe had a Pop-Tart in one hand or a cold beverage in the other. And he saw, hey, look what we got here, Jay. What do we got? We got some numbers. Shedeur Sanders. And also, note, this isn't Shedur's public phone. This is a phone he bought specifically for the draft. So, like, it is a very exclusive list of people who have this number, correct? So he wrote down that number, put it in his phone, piece of paper, whichever it was, took a screenshot of it. And him and a buddy whose name I do not have in front of me and do not know, they called Shedeur, acting as the New Orleans Saints and their general manager, as you mentioned, Jay, Mickey Loomis. And it didn't sound like him, obviously. It's just, if you listen to it, it obviously sounds like some dude in his 20s. But, as Jay said, they pranked him, said, hey, you ready to go and be a Saint? And Shedeur said, oh, yeah, looking forward to it, yada, yada, yada. And they said, well, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, and hung up. And then after the fact that, because they were filming this for Shedeur, they're just like, what was all that about? Like, I mean, obviously they were left confused. I mean, as you would. But ultimately, there has been no discipline for the Atlanta Falcons. There's no been discipline for the defense coordinator. I am sure, though, Jay, this hasn't been made public knowledge, but I have to assume Jeff Ulbrich has punished his son, Jax, in some way, shape, or form that will leave in a private manner because family values. I'm sure some stern words were had and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some stern words were used.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Look, they have the Falcons have said in terms of Jeff Ulbrich, they said, look, we're going to wait until, we're not firing anything. We're going to wait until after the NFL does their investigation. No, guy, Jeff, your days are numbered. You got to know that Jeff's days are numbered. I mean, it's just a matter of time. Not only that, and I mean, that really is probably the least of their issues. If I'm Jax, you got to believe, because Jax ain't no kid. He's an adult.
He's 21
you got to think Mickey Loomis is going to be filing some lawsuits, and somebody's going to be paying some money on this.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some money involved, I'm sure. Some settlement, you would think. it did say that Jax ended up calling Shedeur again and said, apologize for the actions, but that's private. Obviously, we're not going to learn the extent of that. Maybe one day, but not today. I feel like they would have fired him already, Jay. If anything, they would have fired Jeff Ulbrich immediately after the fact, but Adam Schefter said basically that the Falcons will not take any action against him. Now, there might be some fine behind closed doors, but they're not going to fire the guy. Was it careless? Obviously, 100%. Should he have taken better care and maybe closed the app or whatever it was on? Yeah, maybe don't leave it open. But also, you got to think about this too. You look at the son who, like you said, is 21. He's not 12. Who purposely found this number, wrote it down, ended up calling him also.
And videoed
it. He caught himself in 4K. He really did. He caught himself.
This kid wasn't the smartest tool. He wasn't the smartest tool in the toolbox.
No, not at all. He definitely needed some sharpening. But yeah, just a crazy type of deal. And because you thought whenever you saw the video, you just thought it was some kid, just some college kid who somehow found it. But then it said, "Oh, hey, wait a minute, this is actually his son's coach, or a coach's son, rather." So very, very interesting with that. Let's go ahead and bring Foxborough Frankie C into this conversation. If you're there, Frankie, I just want to get your opinion, your thoughts on the Shedeur Sanders and the prank call, I guess, of the season for the NFL standards with the son of the Falcons defense coordinator.
I thought it was funny, Logan. I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. The whole world is pissed about it, but I'm not. I think Shedeur Sanders deserved it. I mean, let's be real. He's not the only one, right? I mean, there's been
it happened just the other year to Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, like
this isn't like a brand new thing. It happens.
It happened to Cooper DeJean. It happened to Shedeur Sanders. It also happened to what's the guy, Tyler Warren, that just got drafted by the Colts. It happened, and they're not the only two that got prank called this year. So yeah, news came out that it was it happens, but what the hell with it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you still got drafted. Congratulations, Shedeur. Should the Falcons defensive coordinator been more, adult about this situation? Absolutely. Like you said, he should have, at least closed the app, to close the tablet so nobody can see it.
Taking it with him or something.
Or just like close the door to your lodge, man. Just close the door so nobody can go in. It was just funny, but the fact that it was an NFL head coach and we over here thinking that it was just a college, because we all did think.
Yeah, initially, because it was just some dude in an Ole Miss T-shirt.
Yeah,
just in his dorm.
How is that possible? Because the NFL give out a certain cell phone to each of the players that are getting drafted, so the teams or franchises can reach to them. So it was really odd. So at the end of the day, it makes perfect sense that it was a son of a defensive coordinator. Maybe the son was pissed because his dad just lost a job with the Jets. Who knows? But I thought it was funny. I honestly thought it was funny. There's nothing more I can say to it, Logan. It's hilarious that somebody prank call Shedeur Sanders, and he got all hyped like, I've been waiting for your call. No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't, Shedeur.
Yeah. I've been waiting. Oh, I know you have. You're gonna have to wait some more. But hey, like you said, he got. It'd be one thing, if he didn't get drafted. You know what I mean? That would be one thing. But he ended up, obviously going to Cleveland, round 5, I believe, pick 144 is what it is officially. So yeah, that was obviously the biggest story of the draft. But obviously, like I said, congrats to everyone out there, all the ones who got drafted, and of course, there's a litany of others who have signed already as UDFAs across multiple teams throughout the league, hoping to just kind of make it big and get in the training camp and crack a roster spot, because it's as y'all know, it's a very exclusive club, and just because you get drafted doesn't mean you're going to make the team, and also just because you're not drafted doesn't mean you won't make the team.
I just want to say something really quickly about all the people that are upset with Shedeur Sanders going so late into the draft.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
How he potentially was the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft, even the top 2. I don't know who the third one was. But the fact that, he got drafted in round 5, it's not a bad thing. Let's not forget, we've seen multiple players get drafted after round 4 or even in round 5, Brock Purdy, for example, Mr. Irrelevant. We've seen many players get drafted late into the rounds. It's the matter of getting drafted and putting in that work when you're on that team. So if you're mad that Shedeur Sanders should have went more higher up than what was expected, don't be, because at the end of the day, let's not forget Tom Brady, round 6, 199th overall pick to the New England Patriots, ended up his career becoming a 7-time Super Bowl champion. So it doesn't matter where you end up getting drafted. It just matters how you perform well on that franchise and on that field.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. I know my boy Phil, man. He said it was because the NFL had to come out and say, Shedeur, you're not bigger than the NFL, and this is why you're slipping as far as you did. There's a lot of reasons why Shedeur went where Shedeur went, right? Number one, you can say it was bad interviewing. He couldn't interview to save his life, right? The fact that he took a phone call in the middle of an interview with Brian Daboll, comes back 15 minutes later, sits down in the chair with Brian and says, hey, my phone call's done. And Brian says, yeah, so's this interview. Get the fuck out of my office. Pardon my French. That was probably the biggest thing right there, was just the fact that he didn't interview well. He restricted who he would talk to in terms of being drafted. This is all Dion talking to his son, saying, this is how we're going to play this draft strategy. And when it doesn't work, and when it didn't work, now Shedeur comes out and says during the middle of the draft, okay, we're going to open up who we can talk to now. We'll talk to pretty much anybody and everybody because I don't want to go 5th round. Well, no, guy, you kind of screwed the pooch on that one. Maybe you shouldn't have taken that freaking phone call in the middle of a damn interview, you dumbass.
I don't think it's majority.
That's exactly what it was.
No. Well, no, I'm not saying that that wasn't majority of the reason he got drafted late. He did have bad interviews. He did have a bad combine. We've seen it multiple times with many people. But I think the reason is because he has Deion Sanders, his father, as his agent. That was a big mistake. You shouldn't have your father as your agent, because we've seen Shiloh, and I'm going to put this out as an example. Shiloh did not get drafted. He got undrafted free agency to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and guess what? He fired Deion Sanders' own father. Yeah, as he should have.
You know what? Fucking bullshit. He should have never had his dad as an agent. Neither should Shedeur. Neither one of them should have ever had. Look, Deion, you're a great player. You're a halfway decent coach. Because let's be honest, you're not the greatest coach of all time. You do have a good name, and it attracts people to your program. But you're not exactly the best coach ever, okay, guy? You're a damn good football player. You had a good name, but you got terrible agent skills, and you got definitely bad management skills with your kids. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And Shiloh, you did good. Shedeur, maybe you got to take a lesson or a page out of your brother's handbook and fire Deion too, because that guy's going to lead you to absolutely nowhere.
So let's transition this here into, you mentioned he got drafted to Cleveland. In Cleveland, I don't know what the hell they were doing. I don't know what their thinking is, because right now they have 5 quarterbacks on the roster.
Right.
You're not going to keep 5 quarterbacks. I'm just going to run through them real quick. You have Deshaun Watson, who I believe he's going to be out the whole year, right? Is that pretty much confirmed?
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I mean, they're probably going to try to cut him as soon as they can. Let's be they're going to try and cut bait as soon as they can. It has
tied up so much cap money in him. I think he's like a $90 million cap hit if they cut him. I think he finds it right.
Whatever it is, he's fully guaranteed, because you can point at him and say, hey, you're the one who ruined all these contracts, but he's getting paid. He's getting paid. In addition to Deshaun, we've got Joe Flacco, of course, who re-upped. He came back, and he's going to play a little bit longer. And then you have Kenny Pickett, who has been in the league for a couple of years now, has just not really found much of a home. He was in Pittsburgh to start his career, had a couple of games there, but they said, hey, we're not really feeling you as the future of this franchise. But then they drafted Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback, who I believe is 25, going to be 26. Played at Oregon, played at a couple other schools as well. So, I mean, he's an older guy, right, coming out of the draft. And then, of course, Shedeur Sanders. So, it's a very interesting quarterback room. I don't know who they're going to keep, because I don't see them keeping 4 quarterbacks. That seems like a lot. Do you put one of those guys in the practice squad to start the year? Do you just end up flat out cutting them? I'm not sure how that goes. I will say this though, I do like the fact that they do have Joe Flacco there, who can mentor all of these guys because they're all young. You know, Pickett's been in the league for a couple of years, but he's not a veteran by any means necessary. But he's going to be, you know, their father figure damn near, and just say, all right, here's how you prepare, here's how you go in the games, here's how you practice, so on and so forth. But guys, what does the quarterback room end up looking like for the Browns come training camp or after that? I'll start with EJ.
Well, here's how I see this. Historically, we were talking about on coast to coast, and it makes a lot of sense. Historically, the Browns, you know, have not had the greatest success, let's be honest, at drafting quarterbacks. So what I think happened was they drafted Dylan Gabriel, they drafted Shedeur at 5, and I think at 5, you know, there's a lot of hit and miss in round 5. Either strike it or you don't. So I don't think they really wasted truly a pick on Shedeur at 5 because, number one, they're going to get him super cheap. They're not tied to him long term if he doesn't pan out. And then he's going to push somebody, whether it be Dylan Gabriel or whoever, to be better than what they are currently in terms of developmental process. So I think this is going to be a quarterback battle. I think Shedeur is going to be humbled by this because, you know, Dylan Gabriel's like, I was drafted ahead of you, biatch. So you just sit there and look pretty. I think those two guys are going to go at it. And I think the Browns ultimately said, look, if we hit it with Dylan and we don't with Shedeur, we come out looking good. If we hit it with Shedeur, but we don't hit it with Dylan, we still come out ahead. I think this is one of those things where we're going to get 2 bites of the apple and see which one pans out. I think that's exactly what Cleveland did. And let's be honest, a 5th rounder on Shedeur, you're not really giving up a whole hell of a lot.
Where do you think Kenny Pickett is kind of the lone man out and gets cut?
I think he is. I think Kenny Pickett will be the lone man out. I think they're going to ride this. Look, they are stuck with Deshaun. And let's say find a trade partner for him. They are stuck. He's just going to ride that carousel until the day is done. So I think Deshaun's going to be there. I think Flacco's going to be there. In case the rookies need more time for development, I think Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur are going to be there. And I think Kenny Pickett's the one out. And if Shedeur doesn't perform well at the next level in terms of the developmental process, they can also cut Shedeur, or they can trade Shedeur to try to maybe get more draft capital for next go round. They have options with Shedeur. I think Dylan Gabriel is going to be a lock there. I think Flacco is going to be a lock there, and I think that Deshaun, unfortunately, is forced to be a lock there. Now, where it comes around at the 4th and 5th quarterbacks, which would be Shedeur and Pickett, that's anybody's guess. And I think really training camp is going to decide exactly where those 2 guys wind up.
Frankie, your thoughts on the quarterback room battle out there in Cleveland?
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing that Jay said, because realistically, you have to look at it, right? I mean, you can do that with Kenny Pickett. He is the oddball out. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, I wouldn't do it. I'm looking at it as Deshaun Watson not going to be available this year because he can't stay healthy. And even if he is healthy, I don't think that they're going to start him. I feel like they're just going to sit him to wait until he's 100% healthy and play smart this time around. You brought Joe Flacco in. Clearly, he's going to be your starter. He's your veteran. He's your experienced guy. And I think that's a great thing for the Cleveland Browns because I believe in Joe Flacco. He can turn a team around. He can, you know, he brought them to the playoffs, I think, 2 years ago when he was with them before going to the Colts last year. So I think that's a really good part in their situation. Now, with Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, I think one of those will be a practice squad member. It doesn't matter if they battle it out. I most likely think it's going to be Gabriel who's going to be the practice squad guy just because Shedeur Sanders has the Sanders name. Okay, so he can either be on the roster as the 4th quarterback, or they can do what Jay said. You could put Shedeur Sanders on the trade market and try and get some draft capital. You're not going to get high draft capital, but you could get some draft capital out of it. And get like a 6th rounder, 7th rounder, whatever you need. It helps. Or you could keep him on your roster in case something happened. I wouldn't trade Kenny Pickett for many reasons. One, he hasn't been in the league that long, true, but he is an experienced quarterback. He's played with Mike Tomlin. He's played with Jalen Hurts. He won a Super Bowl. I don't care what people said. He was on the bench. He was a backup. It don't matter. You won a Super Bowl. You were with a Super Bowl team. You have the Super Bowl mentality now. You actually went on that field and played. So, and I was riding Tony on this last week because we were talking about it, and I said, listen, who finished the Super Bowl? Was it Jalen Hurts or was it Kenny Pickett? He told me Kenny Pickett. I said, all right then. So Kenny Pickett technically won the Super Bowl for the Eagles, but I think
yeah.
I think it's best that you
That's
keep
kind of
Kenny
funny,
Pickett.
yeah, you're right.
I think it's best that you keep Kenny Pickett as your third quarterback because what if Joe Flacco gets hurt? You don't want to put a rookie in there this quick into the season because Joe Flacco is 40 years old. He's not fully, he's not. You don't know if what's he going to bring to you or how long he's going to be on that field for. Deshaun Watson, don't know when he's going to come back. You don't know if he's going to come back. So you got to have that experienced guy who's been in the Super Bowl, who knows how to play in the Super Bowl, and that's Kenny Pickett. So keep him as your third quarterback, Gabriel in the practice squad, and hang Shedeur with the little
QB3.
Yeah, Shedeur as your QB4 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's just an interesting case there. A lot of young quarterbacks, and then Joe Flacco. And Deshaun's just off to the side, just bubble wrap and all these different casts on. God, man, he has been healthy since it felt like he even got to Cleveland. But yeah, just rough over there. Also, just some other football news here that's came across the pipeline the last handful of days. The Washington Commanders, they have reached a $4 billion agreement. They're basically going to be moving back to where the old RFK Stadium was there from 61 through 96. Commanders will pay $2.7 billion to build the stadium, and the district will contribute, looks like $500 million, give or take, as well as some other companies, whatnot, involved in this. And it's going to be over $1 billion coming from the public in the public funds. So Commanders, they're going home, I guess you could say. Same name, they're keeping the Commanders, but moving back to where RFK was. So I think that's cool. I know they've been looking for a new stadium for quite some time now. What was it, like last year or the year prior? They had all those issues at the stadium with just water flowing through. I think the rail fell off at one point. It's clearly falling apart. And they weren't going to do renovations for it because under Daniel Snyder, remember they said, we're just going to get a new stadium. Well, they never did. But don't you love how once he leaves, though, they now get a new stadium with all these new owners. They start to win. They're having more success as a franchise. So I think that, it is cool that they go back to RFK and get a brand new, state-of-the-art stadium. But Frankie, we'll get your thoughts on it here first. You can see another new stadium in the league, so that'll be nice to see.
I mean, is it really technically a new stadium? I mean, they're just going to go to the old stadium and just fix it up and make it a little.
No, they're building a new one, Bubba.
Yeah, it's a brand new one.
Are they tearing down?
There's an actual new stadium. It's just going to be on the site that has RFK on it.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if they tear down RFK when they do build this new stadium, or if they just do like Houston did, where they just build one stadium in front of the other one and just keep it like that, and maybe use RFK for other things.
I could be. I don't know if I don't even know if they're doing concerts or stuff there, because sometimes venues will close down, stuff like this. They'll close down, but they'll still play games for college teams. For example, here in Atlanta, right? Whenever the Braves left Turner Field, they gave that to the Georgia State Panthers, who now use that as their football field. So I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I mean, like I said, it's going to be a brand new state-of-the-art stadium, over $4 billion invested in it. So they're going to be putting a lot of money. It's going to be all the have all the glitz and glamour and everything like that. So it'll be cool though. I'll look forward to it when it gets built. I don't see an official date. Obviously, there is no timetable. It's just they broke ground with it here. I do see here Commanders owner Josh Harris said he would like to open a new stadium in 2030. But Washington has a contract with Maryland to play at Northwest Stadium in Landover until early 2027. So basically, they're going to play there until the new one gets built. Which it makes
sense.
What you got to do.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it takes time for a stadium to be built. Yeah. So there's no need to rush it if it's lasting until 2027. I mean, you could build it by 2028, and during the 2020 season, that's when you can play in your new stadium. This is good news for them. This is good news for them, Logan and Jay. This is really good because if you're looking at it, you got new ownership, you got a whole new squad, new quarterback for your franchise, new head coach for that to lead that franchise, and now you're gonna have a new stadium, and not just any new stadium, a stadium that's in your actual home state. So this is good for the Washington Commanders. I like this very much. I don't like the fact that they're currently playing in Maryland, a home of Baltimore. Makes absolutely no sense. But this is really good on their part. I hope it's going to be a beautiful stadium, and I hope one day I get to visit it and see the Patriots kick their ass.
Well, and also possibly, obviously, this is going to bring a Super Bowl at some point to Washington, D.C., so that's actually really cool to see our nation's capital get a Super Bowl. So I do look forward to seeing that. But real quick, I want to go back to the draft. I got to say, there are several teams that I thought drafted really, really well. I felt one thing I thought was, the one thing with the Miami Dolphins, we were talking about this earlier, was the fact that, Tua has a penance for getting injured a lot. So they brought in Wilson to back him up. And Wilson is still kind of unproven, right? Can he be the third quarterback to come out of the Jets system and turn out to be a good quarterback? We'll see what happens over there with Miami with that. But I think they drafted Quinn Ewers at number 7 in the 7th round, which, as you know, a 7th round draft pick for a quarterback is easy because you haven't tied anything to him, right? You're just taking a flyer on this guy. But think about this. You're taking a flyer on a guy who is in the Heisman conversation up until that point in the Georgia game where it just didn't go quite the way it should have gone, and then it knocked him completely out of draft status. Obviously the injury history is another issue, but Quinn knows how to read defenses. He can still play that quarterback really, really well, and this could solidify, honestly, if Wilson pans out, this could solidify a really good quarterback room. If Tua was to get hurt, they would have some reliable guys to continue to carry that team forward. So I'm really curious to see how this pans out. But I thought them drafting Quinn Ewers in the 7th round was a really good steal for them, especially if he stays healthy. This could be a big steal for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could. Like I said, they draft these guys kind of later on with the kind of a flyer in hand. It's like, we'll see what you can do, right? If you work out, if you pan out, great. If not, then we can either keep you on a roster spot like they do for a lot of younger guys. But we'll see what happens with it. I did see though that Ohio State led all colleges in terms of players being drafted. They had 14. I saw that Georgia had 13. So I knew that. I'm not sure off the top of my head about Texas and Alabama.
I know the Patriots drafted a lot of Ohio State guys because of Mike Vrabel.
Hey, rightfully so.
Mike Vrabel being an alumni from there and stuff like that. I know for a fact we got at least 4, maybe 5 Ohio State guys, and I think we got 4 drafted and then a couple more undrafted. So
okay.
Mike Vrabel's huge with Ohio State because he went to that school, so I expected that. If you guys noticed, the Bill Belichick days, we were straight Alabama, right? We were straight Alabama players. Post that, you got Gerard Mayo, who ended up coaching last year. He over here bringing some Tennessee players because he's from Tennessee. Now we got Mike Vrabel, who's in here bringing in some decent, nice Ohio. I absolutely love what Mike Vrabel and the Patriots did this year in the draft. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I told Caitlin this. I said I have not been this happy about an NFL draft for the Patriots in so long. I can't remember the last time I felt that the Patriots drafted such a good class on much important needed positions. And,
for sure.
And especially, and Jay, listen, especially early in the draft, right? I mean, 4th round pick, you get our offensive guy to protect Drake May and his blind side.
Oh, for sure.
2nd round pick, you get a running back, right, in Trevion Henderson, who's going to be a great pickup, who's going to be a dominant backup between Ramondre Stevenson, depending on how he can do carrying the ball because he had many fumbles last year, and Antonio Gibson. I feel like that's a great pickup. And then you got in the 3rd round, we went and we got a wide receiver, someone to match up with Stephon Diggs and someone to Drake May to throw to. Then after that, they just filled in holes that they needed to fill in. It was an absolute splash draft for the Patriots. I'm so happy on how this draft. I don't know about your teams and how you guys feel about your team's draft this year, but for me as a Patriot fan, I have not been this happy about the draft in a long time.
Yeah. So real quick here, Jay, before you give your take on that, I did find an article here. Draft picks per school, basically. So Ohio State, as we mentioned, led the way with 14. Georgia second most with 13. Texas came in 3rd with 12. Oregon at 10. Ole Miss at 8. Frankie, you tied with Florida, LSU, Miami, and Michigan with 7. So that is how that
sounds about right. Here's the thing. Number one, I got 2 points I want to make. Number one, I felt like even though I know the Browns took 2 quarterbacks, I kind of like the way that they did it because they got the one quarterback way late in the 5th. So I felt like they're really playing to see which quarterback is going to be the best for them. Obviously, what I also like about that is the way they handled that second round. The fact that you went and got a linebacker in Schweissinger, and then you came back and you got Quinshawn Judkins, which is a good blocking running back as well as a good running back for helping out that quarterback side. Yeah, I thought that second round for the Browns was absolutely amazing. So I thought the Browns did a really good job. Honestly, I thought in the draft they did really, really well. Secondly, I think Brian Daboll is got probably the most pressure on him that he's had since he's been with the New York Giants. And what I mean by that is he's had a lot of excuses up until this point of why the Giants are where the Giants are. But this year, not only did you go out and get one of the best defensive ends and Carter to pair up with what's the other guy, Logan, that they got from last year's draft?
Thibodeau, Kayvon Thibodeau at LSU.
So you got basically Thibodeau's counterpart on that defensive side. But this is where I think is interesting and where I think he has the most pressure. So up until now, Daboll could tell you, well, you know what? I haven't had my quarterback. I didn't get my quarterback selection. Well, you know what? You got him now. Not only did you get him now, but you traded up to get this guy. That means you put all your eggs in this guy. That means Jackson Dart had better be another damn Josh Allen, or this could be what bites Daboll in the ass. And this could be him leaving the Giants, being fired. If he is not able to develop Jackson Dart and make him into a great quarterback like he did with Josh Allen, which obviously McDermott had something to do with that as well. Let's not look past that. But this is Daboll's guy. He traded up to get him. And if this doesn't pan out, I mark my words. I swear to God, mark my words. If Jackson Dart doesn't pan out and become a great quarterback, I promise you Daboll is done in the city of New York.
We'll see. Glenn, let's get your comments on the Colts, how you thought they did with their draft, and then we'll switch it over to some basketball news.
Yes, Colts got their tight end that they wanted. Bears, being the Bears, left the door open for us to go grab the guy from Penn State, and that's pretty
Tyler
much
Warren.
my thoughts on that. Yes.
Yeah, and I was surprised by that move. I was surprised by that move whenever the Bears went with Colston Loveland out of Michigan before going with the Mackey Award winner, which is the best tight end in the country, and a perennial tight end threat. I mean, just a big dude in Tyler Warren. But I think what Chicago is trying to do, and I believe they drafted another tight end later on. I could be wrong about that, but they're going to be running sets with him and Cole Kmet, who's their current starter. So that could work. If you give Caleb time to work back there in the pocket, which they did address needs for the offensive line and whatnot, and other just pieces on the offense. So we'll see, but that, it could work. But I thought overall, just as a prospect, obviously, I thought Tyler Warren was my tight end one, obviously. So I know you're glad for that one, Glenn.
Well, most definitely.
Ben Johnson did come out though and kind of hinted that basically, yes, Tyler Warren is the more star-like tight end, right? He's more playmaking type tight end. But I think the reason why he went the way he went is because he felt like Loveland was more of a Sam Porta kind of guy. And so he felt that Loveland was be more fitted of his system than Warren was. And he's got packages like he did for Porta lined up for Loveland. So I think that it is a surprising shock that he didn't go Warren, honestly. But I think he went Loveland because that was the guy he felt like would fit his system the best. So I think that was just a system pick more than it was a talent pick.
Hey, and Glenn, does Riley Leonard beat out Anthony Richardson? I sent it in our group chat as a joke. I said, when does he take over for the starting role?
It wouldn't surprise me if it ends up being week 1.
All right, so, I just want to make sure this legitimate.
Yeah,
right?
week 1. It could be week 1.
Okay.
Oh, we'll see how it
progresses. And you got a kind of a failed Anthony Richardson is not exactly unheard of or unfathomable that he couldn't be the guy, right?
No, well,
yes,
I mean,
it's
we'll
possible,
see,
man.
Also, they're like the polar opposites because we know Richardson's got like this cannon of an arm, right? But Riley Leonard, if you ever watched his play at Notre Dame, it was just think and dump, 5-10 yards here and there. You never saw him let loose with the cannon. You saw him just play very conservative.
It reminded me a lot of I forget, he played for you guys, I think, Landon, and played for Arizona and took the Cards to the NFC Championship game against the Panthers and lost. I want to say his name is Carson, or
not sure who that one is.
He was drafted by Bengals and from USC. I forget the guy's name. The name escapes me.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
By the way, Glenn, you are no longer allowed to promote any team in draft other than the Cowboys. Otherwise, we're gonna have to rescind your dues. We're gonna have to take back your fandom, and you will be cast off into no man's land the next time I ever hear you talk about some damn Colts when you're supposed to be a Cowboys fan. I'm gonna have to go there and take away your jersey. Matter of fact, you know what we're gonna do? I want you to send me that jersey right now in the mail, and then I'll give it back to you when I feel like you're an actual Cowboys true fan. I'm sorry, I'm calling you out on behalf of Cowboy Nation.
Hey, it's all right, man. But yeah, man. I'm gonna look up this guy's name, but yeah, I feel like his Riley Leonard is a great comparison to him.
Okay, yeah, and I think that all in all, I enjoyed the draft. I felt like the draft went by a lot quicker this year than years past, which I was all for. Of course, normally, man, it'd take 3.5-4 hours to get through the first round. I think they've done like 2.5 or 3.
Yeah, it was a much.
I'm glad for that. I'm glad for that, man. Just pick it up some, pick up the pace.
I just thought it was interesting the fact that they had the draft in Green Bay.
Bro, it was Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
Carson Palmer.
The name is Carson. Yeah, that's who.
Okay, I got you.
Name.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was just surprised that they had the draft in Green Bay. Green Bay is a very small town. It doesn't have a whole lot of hotels. There's really not a whole lot, honestly, truthfully, there. It's just a very neighborhood draft. I mean, I guess it's cool if you like the neighborhood draft feel, but there were so many of the better places they could have had the draft. I just didn't like the fact that they had it in Green Bay. I felt that it was just too small of a place.
And I don't know if they've announced where they're having it next year.
Pittsburgh.
Had it
Pittsburgh?
in New England.
They're going to Pittsburgh next year, and I'm definitely trying to go there because Pittsburgh's only about like 2.5 to 3 hours from me, so I'm definitely trying to go there.
I think that'd be definitely need to head out to. But let's flip over to
basketball. They could have had it in Foxborough, and it would have been better.
I mean,
they would have had it in Houston or Dallas. I definitely would have been there.
Yeah, but they couldn't do that, Jay, because they would have. If it would have been Dallas, I mean, Glenn would have been crying, complaining how it wasn't in Indianapolis. Then if they have it in Indianapolis, he'd have been crying and complaining why it's not in Dallas.
Oh wow! Moving on.
Well, let's talk some basketball. NBA is hot right now. We're in the playoffs. We're going to do some preview action here in a minute, but we're going to look back at some of the games that took place last night. So let's just go down the list here. I'm seeing New York Knicks beat the Detroit Pistons. Very close, 94-93 ball game into that one. Jalen Brunson led the way with 32 points for New York. And they got rid of, and the controversial ending there, but it all got forwarded for Cade Cunningham's triple-double with 25, 10, and 10. So controversial call at the end there, right under the basket for the moment. Then it got kicked out to Tim Hardaway Jr. Looked like it was fouled. They said he wasn't. Then they came back and said afterwards, after the game was over, the ref said, yeah, we messed it up. It should have been a foul. So if I'm Detroit, I'm upset, and rightfully so.
I mean, this whole series has just been one debacle. I mean, and some of it is Detroit's fault because really, I think a lot of us agree probably that Detroit really should be leading this series, and it should be Knicks trailing in this series. But some of it is some of it is Detroit's fault. But in this specific game, it didn't look good on the NBA. They should have called that foul at the end. That was definitely a foul. That was definitely a foul. I don't know how you missed that, but it really does, look bad on the NBA officiating for not getting that call correctly, or at least reviewing that call to check it out again.
I don't understand these whole non-reviewable calls. What do you mean it's not reviewable? Any play can be reviewable. I've never understood that rule.
Yeah, I don't understand it either personally, especially, this is a classic example of why it should be reviewed. when you got a series on the line or you got games in the playoffs on the line, these are the calls that absolutely should be reviewed to make sure that you get it correct and that the actual team is getting, their just desserts and not being screwed over in the playoffs. I mean, you would want to get this correct.
Yeah, that's a good point. Frankie, we'll go down to you.
I'm upset. I'm not even a Pistons fan. I'm not a Knicks fan. Listen, I'm upset. I'm upset for my Lakers, right? But we'll
get to them in a minute.
No, I know, but I'm more upset for the Pistons because this isn't the first time that the refs had screwed over the Detroit Pistons this season alone. I've seen multiple controversies towards the Pistons this year with the officiating, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. Regular season, I get it. If you don't want to review it, cool. It's regular season. There's always the next day. This is the playoffs, the NBA playoffs.
And this is a pivotal game too. If they would have won that game, it would have been tied 2-2.
I feel like this game should, and I understand what Jay said. Like people are saying the Pistons should be up 3-1 or whatever like that. No, they lost game 3, fair and square. That was Anthony. Anthony Towns was killing it in game 3. Mm-hmm. This should definitely be a tied series. The refs should have definitely went to the table before walking away and saying we're going to review this. They should have reviewed it. It should have been 2 foul shots for the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons should have won this game. It's absolutely bonkers that the refs just go ahead and say this game is over. We're walking off the court. While you got the Detroit head coach saying, how was that not a foul? That was clearly a foul. Yeah. You don't want to hear what the guy say. And then you got the nerves to come after the game, about half hour after the game, saying, we made a wrong call. It was an absolute foul. This is absolutely why the NBA is my 3rd favorite sport. This is why I can care less, win, lose, draw. I don't care. I do not like the NBA because it has gotten soft. And this is the prime perfect example of why I'm not a huge fan like the rest of us on NBA. Because of situations like this, and Adam Silver is doing nothing to change it. This pisses me off to a next level. It's different if it's a regular season, but this is playoffs. Mm-hmm. Playoffs is there, especially with a young.
Also, they were at home too, I think, right? Wasn't
they were home? Yeah, they were home.
In Detroit.
They were.
Yeah, it's for the NBA. Hold on, the NBA should be like the NFL. The last 2 minutes of a quarter is always reviewable. Why is the NBA not that same way?
I can't tell you why.
I mean, it's crazy.
And I don't get why that's not a factor because we've seen enough basketball. We know the last 2 minutes of play. If it's close, typically it's going to be a bunch of fouls, right? It's going to be a bunch of jersey grabbing, getting a few elbows in there. And I get you don't want to take the physical aspect out of it. You know what I mean? You don't want to turn it into just calling fouls left and right and center. But in a pivotal shot that would have given them the lead at the very end of the ball game, how can you not look it over? That's what I'm still kind of scratching my head. But Glenn, I want to get your comments in on this one here, friend.
Before you go, I just want to say I'm going to view myself after this. Okay. The main reason why I'm pissed off because this is a young squad who all season fought really hard, from the GM all the way down to the center, down to the goddamn janitor, Logan. Everybody on this franchise is type young. They're fighting hard all season long. They turned this franchise into a last place East team, last place out of the NBA season. to a playoff contender team who should be up 2-2 or 3-1 against the Knicks. This is absolutely, but I'm absolutely pissed. Adam Silver, I can't stand you. Every ref in every league, I hate you because you guys don't know what the hell you're doing. It pisses me off.
Glenn, your comments on this? Do you agree with the rest of us that Detroit was screwed over?
Well, what I got to say about this is going to be a complete opposite of what Frankie had just said, but which makes this great. A great episode here today. So, the hell with the Knicks and the hell with Detroit.
Well, I get your sentiment for that. I understand. But just your thoughts as a general fan, though, on the call.
Oh, yeah. In my analyst mind, Detroit definitely got screwed, but, I've seen enough. Yeah, honestly, I don't care, but I'm just gonna be honest. At the end of the day, the NBA is the NBA. It's the reason why the league is the way it is.
I'm sorry. Hold on, Glenn. As a Pacers fan, you should care. You should care because you want to go up against the best. Because if you want to go out and say we can beat Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, because I do think Boston's going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. But if you want your Pacers to say, I have confidence that we could beat them, you want to beat the best to get to them. And I feel like the best is the young squad in the Detroit Pistons. You want to face these guys. I already know the Pacers could beat the Knicks. I already know that. But for a fact that you guys should like want to face the tougher competitors to go and say during the Eastern Conference Finals, I feel confident against the Celtics. You would want to feel like, I get what you're saying because you're a Pacers fan. And I get you're saying, the heck with the Knicks, the heck with the Pacers or the Pistons or whatever. I get it. But as a fan of the NBA and as like just like me, just like Jay, we want to face the best so that way at the end, if we hold that championship trophy in the air, we can go out and say we beaten the best to get to where we're at. So if I'm a Pacers fan and I'm you, I would be livid because I would want to play the Pistons because I feel the Pistons are a better team than the Knicks.
Well, that's what Gonzo was saying
I
last
was wanting to play Detroit in the first round myself over Milwaukee. We won Detroit pretty much. Yeah. We were eyeing, to be honest with you, we was eyeing Detroit once the seeding was starting to pan out, and we still won Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, and since you mentioned Milwaukee. It, we'll go ahead and just transfer over into the game here last night because some news did come out earlier today. It was official. So first off, the game last night, the Pacers won 129-103 over the Bucks, won by 26. Halliburton went 17-15 on the night. But the story that everyone's talking about with that game, unfortunately, not Glenn, but everyone else, is Damian Lillard got hurt, tore his ACL, and it is official. Or excuse me, his Achilles tendon. He tore that. So he's going to miss probably all of next season, to be fair, just because we are in April, basically May already. He's old. He's not ancient, right? But he is a little bit older. And he did come back from a previous injury to just play in the playoffs. So you kind of add those on top of each other, and he's going to be out for quite some time. First off, Glenn, we'll just start with you because it's your team. You got the win. Just what did you like in this one? And also, do you think they'll close it out in Game 5?
Yeah, we're going to close it out in Game 5. I did like the result last night as far as the outcome of the score. I did not like the fact of Dame going down to injury. Obviously, anytime that somebody goes down to injury, it obviously sucks at the end of the day. However, I do feel like that Damian coming back too quickly was probably going to hurt them in that way, and unfortunately it did.
And also, too, before I kick it over to you, Jay, I thought that the Pacers had a really good approach. I mean, they had 8 players, including all 5 starters, scoring double figures. I mentioned Halliburton with a 15 assists as well as 17 points. So they were just clicking on all cylinders. Miles Turner was the leading scorer. I believe he had 23. So Pacers looked great last night against the Bucks, who, that Lillard injury just kind of feels like the death blow, don't you think?
Yeah, it does. Because I felt like he was able to keep him in the game, keep it much closer, and it goes back to what we had put out on TikTok for Game 2 last Tuesday. Is with Dame coming back, the game was going to be closer, and it was. And they had beat us in Game 3. Gary Trent had a great game. Then Damian went down with the Achilles tear last night, and
also
like one all over again.
And also, too, Jay, I'm gonna bring you in on this one. I think it also hurts Milwaukee too because Damian is besides Giannis, obviously, but Damian is their kind of voice on the sidelines, right? He's that guy who's been in the playoffs multiple times. He's the hardest worker in the room, you can say, right? From everything we've learned about him, and now just kind of losing him just really kind of hurts this Bucks team to where it all kind of feels like, all right, Giannis, it's time to jump on your back and let's see what you can do.
Yeah, honestly, even ever since Dame came back from that deep vein thrombosis I believe it was in the foot, he really truly has not offensively been effective in this series. He can say he's got the voice, maybe plays a little bit of D, but truthfully, he hasn't done a whole lot. He really hasn't. So I think this is still the Giannis show. I mean, Dame will still be able to voice his opinion. He'll still be able to talk to his teammates from the sideline. He can still be that voice in the ear. That part won't change. The part that's going to change is just now he won't be giving you those minutes on the court. But I think somebody else is going to fill those minutes in and be just as effective, if not more effective, than what Dame was giving you. And it's not that Dame's a bad player. I just don't think medically he was, or not medically, but conditioning-wise, playoff conditioning-wise, I don't think he was ready to go. And I think it showed up to the point where he's torn his Achilles. I just think it's like bringing somebody in cold or like taking your car out cold and never warming it up and expecting it to be at high performance. And it's just not that way. And so I felt like almost like we were saying earlier that maybe they should have just said, you know what, Dame, man, I know, you got to take off. We'll come back next season. But that's not the way it is in playoffs. We all know that. Everybody's a competitor. Everybody wants to play. This is their time. So I understand why it happened the way it happened. I just think from an effective standpoint, now you've lost Dame, not only for this playoffs, but you've also lost him all of next season and maybe even into part of the season after that.
Because you don't know how he's going to recover. We don't know.
Well, you just don't know. I mean, he's 32 years old. It's not like he's a young kid. It's not like his body just is going to repair itself like a 28-year-old tearing an Achilles or something of that nature. I mean, you don't know.
I mean, he played a lot of basketball.
You don't know what you're getting. So either way, Milwaukee's definitely done. Okay, Pacers are going to walk away with this series.
They also go back to Indiana too, so that's going to help out.
But my question is where does Giannis go after this? Does he stay with Milwaukee? Does he continue to ride the Milwaukee train? Because I cannot for the life of me think that he's happy with Doc Rivers as his coach. I don't know if he's happy with the organization. I think he loves the city, but is that going to be enough to keep him in Milwaukee? Or because I think that there's a good shot that he winds up with another team at some point very, very soon.
So I think they'd have to trade him at that point, right? And if you trade him, then you're blowing everything up.
I hate
pretty
that.
much, yeah.
Well, we got Frankie.
I just hate it. It's this, and it goes back to my point on why I don't like the NBA anymore. I mean, we used to watch players be dedicated and loyal to their franchise, and I get it. You get unhappy. You feel like you don't want to be there no more. You want to go somewhere else, and feel like maybe your playing career will be better elsewhere. I get what Jay said. And I'm not saying Jay has a bad take. What I'm just saying is that at my take, I can't stand the fact that a player gets in his head that I don't want to be here no more because, look at what this franchise is doing. They bring me in Doc Rivers. They gave me Damian Lillard. Listen, I get it, Giannis, but you are Milwaukee, bro. At the end of the day, put it in your head. Milwaukee wouldn't have won a championship without you. They will still go on that long drought of being championship list since like Wilt Chamberlain or something like that. I'm not a Bucks fan, a while. But like you're Milwaukee, bro. Like you have, and that's what I miss about player. And I feel like LeBron James. And I'm not a big LeBron James fan, but I feel like LeBron James is the first guy that changed that narrative. Because back in the day, you used to have players that be dedicated to their franchise. Michael Jordan was dedicated to the Bulls. Kobe Bryant dedicated to the Lakers. You had the guy on the Rockets. I keep forgetting his name, but he was dedicated. What's his name?
Hakeem.
Yes, Hakeem. He was dedicated to the Rockets. I mean, you had all these people back in the day that was dedicated to their team, win, lose, or anything, championship list or not. They were dedicated to that franchise. They wanted players to come into that franchise and play with them. They didn't want to leave the franchise and play with someone else. LeBron James changed that, and now look at what the NBA is.
And so let me just clear this up. Giannis is still under contract until 2027, 28. So he's still there for a couple of years because remember in the offseason, he had just signed that big extension with them. So if he does get traded, that's going to be on Milwaukee to end up pulling the trigger. They don't have to trade him.
And I'm pretty sure, listen, and I'm pretty sure any franchise in the NBA will tell Milwaukee, I will take on that contract. I will take on that contract, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and they would, but at that point, it's in the hands of the front office.
Right.
Because we've seen many guys ask for trades, but got teams say, no, we're not trading you. We don't have to. And then you have surprise trades like with Luka, where it's just, oh, you're gone. See you. See you later. We'll get a pack of peanuts in return.
Hey, listen, real quick. And this is no shot to Glenn. I do think that the Pacers are going to win this. Yeah. But Glenn, and I hope you can hear me, bro. Don't be surprised. Do not be surprised or shocked that you see a total different Milwaukee Bucks team. Now that Damian Lillard is down, do not be shocked that Milwaukee turns something around and have a little spark behind them. You're going to see Giannis be the leader that we know that he can be. We're going to see someone that we never speak of gonna step up big and be like, wow, where did this come from? Because Jay's right. There's got to be someone that needs to step up now that Dame is gone. And
Kyle
real
Kuzma,
talk,
where you at?
and real talk, Jay. They did not have Damian Lillard all month of April, and I did not see not one person step up when Dame got hurt.
Oh yeah, I understand
so
that.
This is the playoffs.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to step up. Bobby Portis, where the hell are you at?
Yeah,
He had a great game too and stuff. But yeah, I was waiting for that to actually happen last night, Frankie. You know, honestly, that's why I kept referring to the win for Dame storm. You know, so.
Well, hold on now. Let me just say this, Frankie. Bobby Portis got suspended back in February. Oh, it's February. He's back. Never mind. Sorry about that. I forgot he's on the team. That's how long he's been out for.
Yeah, he's just been on the bench. I seen him. He scored 8 points total yesterday. Like, come on.
No, he scored 14.
Yeah.
Bobby Portis didn't play a bad game. I mean, the man he gave you 25 minutes, 6 of 10, which is over 50% shooting, 50% at the arc at 2 for 4, 3 rebounds and assists at 14 points. I mean, he didn't have a bad game. He just wasn't as involved as much as he should have been.
I feel like the 25 minutes is now going to double next game.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see it. I could definitely see that.
I expect him to have more of a game 2 kind of stat line than game 4. Yesterday.
All right, let's talk about these Lakers, Frankie. We're getting your team out the way here. Lost by 3 in another close game to the Timberwolves. Now down 3-1. I'll give you the floor first. This is your team. What'd you think? I mean, obviously you knew that coming into the series, Timberwolves, long team, lanky. But, man, last night it was just Anthony Edwards and his sharpshooting.
Listen, Anthony Edwards is a dog, man.
Oh, yeah.
He is a dog. I can't hate on the man. Listen, when you're a great player, I can't hate on you. And Anthony Edwards is a great, phenomenal player. That dude is a dog. And, boy, do I wish he wears the purple and gold because I absolutely would love it if he was on the L.A. Lakers. But, listen, man, I understand we're down 3-1. And it's a tough and competitive series, but I'm liking this series. I get we're down 3-1, but it's really a good freaking series. You got Luka Doncic and LeBron James actually playing well. LeBron James, the last 3 games, has shown up better than what he did in game 1, finally. Luka Doncic has been scoring 30 points each of these games, these last 4 games. So we know he's good what he's doing. Anthony Edwards is competing with them. Even Julius Randle. Julius Randle has finally showed up and played better ball than he's done his entire career. So this is a great matchup between the two. I just feel like it's the lack of defense and the lack of bench from the Lakers. And Jay's been saying it all series, and I've been agreeing with him. The bench needs to step up. They really do. Now,
they scored, what, 2 points last night?
No, they had 6. But here's
6.
Here's the reason, though, why they had 6. Because J.J. Redick wanted the entire second half. He played his starter. Not one person sat down the second half. That's the first time since 1990 or 1991.
No, it was the 60s. It's been a minute since that happened.
Yeah. So I mean,
I'm surprised Thibodeau hasn't done that in New York yet.
It's insane, and I get it. You feel like you feel you have your back against the wall. Cool, mm-hmm. I get it. You feel like the bench isn't supporting enough. I get it. But when you're in the 4th quarter and you have about 5 minutes left and you're up by 10. You need to give these guys at least a minute or 2, maybe even 3 if you can hold it.
Just a breather.
To give them a breather. Let them rest their legs. Put some ice on their knees. Let them do what they got to do. No, what happened? J.J. Redick kept them going. You got a 40-year-old LeBron James looking tired on the bench. Every time you get a timeout called. You got Luka Doncic who can't even breathe because he needs an asthma pump when he gets to the bench. It's insane. You can't do that if you're J.J. Redick. And I get it. You need to do it. You got the back against the wall. But in a situation like that, you need to let them have the breather because if you get them the breather,
work.
They come back. They come back feeling normal again. Mm-hmm. But then again, you need other people to step up. Rui Hachimura had an ugly first half. He finally showed it up in the second half. Austin Reeves missing a lot of open 3 shots. You had a wide open 3 in the second half, and you missed it. Mm-hmm. You had a couple missed layups from LeBron James and Luka Doncic. I mean, it's miscue. And then the turnovers. You played a clean first quarter, gave up 1 turnover. Second quarter, it turns up. It's about 9 turnovers. We ended the game, I think, with double-digit turnovers as usual. It's just the lack of support that the Lakers are giving. My key thing is the defense. You're up by double-digit points by 10. Play the damn defense. Stop turning the ball over. Stop playing lack defense. And JJ Redick, give these goddamn guys some breather. LeBron James is 40 years old. He cannot be out there for 46 goddamn minutes. I'm sorry to use the Lord's name.
No, he can't be doing that. He do it at 36 probably, but not.
He's not in Miami Heat days. This ain't the
No,
Miami days.
no, definitely not. Definitely
He
not.
can't be doing that.
No. Yeah, give him a breather. I agree. I'm not even gonna ask you, Frank. I know the answer. They are gonna win the next game. They're gonna get back in it. They're not gonna lose game 5.
Listen, Logan. It ain't over until it's over.
Right.
You gotta win 4 games, baby. Lakers in 7, right, Jay? Lakers in 7. It ain't over, baby, until it's over.
I was kind of poking fun at it, but if you really think the Lakers in 7, I ain't gonna take that. I'm not gonna take that dream away from you. I'm not gonna take the fact that I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Durant becomes a Laker just to help your boys out over there. I will put that curse on you too. So let's do it. Lakers in 7 and Durant to the Lakers next year. Hell yeah, let's go.
I'll tell you right now. Hold on, Jay. I'll tell you right now. If Kevin Durant comes to the Lakers next year, I'm rocking Houston gear next year.
So is that line of not being over till it's over? Was that in like the 60s or something?
I'm buying a Rockets jersey next year if KD.
No, don't buy one. I'll send you one. Don't you worry.
Send me one from your closet. Yeah, send me a good one.
I'll take. If you want to do that, hey, I'll take it. We'll burn LeBron. By the way, let's just stop talking about LeBron being a GOAT. I ain't never heard a kid say, "Hey mom, can I go get a pair of LeBrons?" No. Hey,
okay, Jay, you're not listening to the right people. You ain't listening to the right people.
Hey, kids don't want LeBrons. Kids want Jordan. Everybody wants Jordans. Ain't nobody ever want
Hey, Jay, you rocking a pair of Starberries on your feet right now?
You hush your mouth, Logan. You go wash your mouth out with soap. But anyway, hey, listen, hold on a minute. Hey, hold on. Watch this. The problem with the Lakers for me, Frankie, is this. Jackson Hayes ain't done a damn thing for you. Not a damn thing. Now, he did only play 5 minutes last night, but why have they not at least tried to put Lynn in there and see what Lynn at 7 feet can do against a Gobert?
He's hurt.
Is he hurt? Because I didn't see him on the injury report.
Of course, you're not going to see him on the injury report. It's playoff. He's gonna, they're not going to put that on there. But I've been hearing since the series started that he's been hurt.
Okay.
Okay.
But that definitely is a position. The center position for you guys is what's killing you right now. And the fact that you said you only got 6 points from Darius Finney-Smith. I mean, 6. That's just not going to get it done for you guys. Like you said, you got Braun out there gasping. You got Luka out there gasping. Look, this team just is not built right now to be serious playoff contenders. They're not. And it's not a knock on LA. It's just they are still building right now. The Lakers have got a long transitional process. They're gonna have to transition away from Braun. Luka still is obviously the focal point there, but this team is headed for a rebuild, whether people want to admit that or not. They're headed for a rebuild.
No, I think what really killed us was that trade with the Dalton Connect over to New Orleans.
Charlotte? Charlotte, because you were going to get Mark Williams.
Yeah, we're going to get Mark Williams. If that trade would have upheld and Mark Williams would have been on this team, it would have been a whole different series. But I'm not. But listen, I'm not. The rim protection. I get what JJ Redick's saying. We don't have rim protection. But listen, Rudy Gobert's not doing anything. Have you seen his numbers in the playoffs?
Yeah, he gave him 5. Well, he gave him 5 points, but he had 10 rebounds. And when he helped him out was rebounding.
That's what his game is. He's not going to get you 30, but he's going to get you 15 rebounds or whatever. He's going to just impact the shots.
Absolutely, I get that. But that's just in one game. Really look at his stat for the entire first round right now. It's not really pretty. It's really not. So I'm not worried about that because Rudy Gobert, there's people stopping. What's confusing me is why the heck is the Lakers having Austin Reeves in the paint to try and guard Rudy Gobert and all these people? It makes no sense. And then you try to double Anthony Edwards so much because he's driving to the paint, and when he drives to the paint, that man could fly, no doubt about it.
Yeah, we know about that.
He's a dog. But you're leaving Naz Reid out open in the 3. He's a good 3-point shooter for
He's a solid player.
But you can't leave players open. You cannot have the not young, but you can't have the small guy in the paint. Where the hell is LeBron in the paint? Where the hell is Dorian Finney?
Yeah, especially when Minnesota gets 48 points in the paint and you're only getting 30.
Yeah, that's a big discrepancy there.
That's what I'm saying, because every time, if you looked at it yesterday, every time in the paint, it was Austin Reeves. Where are the big guy? Where's Justin Vanderbilt?
Where's all the other dudes at?
Where's Rui Hachimura? You got big guys that should be worried about the paint. Why are you worrying about these guys blocking threes?
But you know what, and also they got you in fast break points. They got you at 16-7 on the fast break points. So fast break points in the paint. I mean, that really is a huge. I mean, they only got you by 3 points, but I think that was a huge factor in that game. And again, that's where not having a center, not having a Jackson Hayes,
not having that Mark Williams, like you mentioned.
Yes,
that's
really.
And there wasn't any great centers in the free agent market. You kind of just sure, Alex Len, you can fill a roster spot. You know what I mean?
I think JJ Redick got pissed at Jackson Hayes last night. He really did, because 5 minutes into the game, you had 2 fouls and a technical in that foul.
Yeah, you can't do that.
JJ Redick got pissed because Jackson Hayes, when you get fouled, he talks too much to the ref. You can't do that. You did it. You got a tech. You kept going. You cannot keep doing that. So JJ Redick pulled his ass. He told him, listen, shut your mouth. Go sit down. And the rest of the game, he did not play. That's what happened. Stop running your mouth.
And Glenn, I want to get your comments on this game before we move on to the final one from last night. Lakers lose by 3. Another close game in the series here to the Timberwolves. Basically, do they close it out in 5 or Lakers in 7?
Well, it won't be Lakers in 7. I'll tell you that much. I think Minnesota's going to wrap this up in 5. So,
all right, we'll see what happens. But
coming in here,
Minnesota's a good team, dude. They're a good team.
Glenn coming in here sounding like Forrest Gump.
So here's the thing, man. I was hopeful as hell that you guys were going to make the finals, but man,
it ain't over till
Mama did say Minnesota in 5.
Minnesota 5. 5.
If the Rockets could come back from Phoenix down 3-1 and get the championship ring, it's never over till it's over. I just don't think, in this specific instance, that LA has enough to keep up with the T-Wolves. And I think that's just, and I don't know if the T-Wolves get it in 5, but I definitely think the T-Wolves will take the series.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. Let's talk about our last game from last night. Celtics just beat the hell out of the Magic 107-98. Tatum 37, 14, and 3. Jaylen Brown also had a double-double in that game. I mean, Boston in 5. Anyone else in disagreement?
Yep. I thought it was Boston 5.
4. I thought it was Boston in 4.
You surprised they got the 1?
I really am.
Honestly, I mean, look, to be fair, it's really just for the Magic. It's Banchero and maybe Wagner. He had a good game last night. That's about it. There's no one really else to beat.
No, I really thought this was going to be a sweep too. I really thought Cleveland was going to sweep.
Well, everyone did.
and yes, which I mean, Cleveland will still probably sweep. And
we'll get some in a second.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, look, the Celtics ran through everyone last year. I mean, they just rough shot. They lost 1 game, 2 games. You went to the finals.
Yeah.
Or they won the chip, and they're looking damn good this year.
I think Boston is smart. Boston is smart. They lost that 1 game. Boston is smart. They lost that 1 game on purpose. They really did. They said we're going to take this back to TD Garden. We're gonna win the series at home.
Win the series at home and host next round.
We're gonna make these guys fly from Orlando back to Boston just to go back on a play upset.
That's a good point. I mean, can we just move on to the other games? We know this one's already wrapped up, right? I mean, do we really want to dive into this series?
Hey, we didn't have to. All we had to really do was say, Pacers take out Orlando and go up 3-1.
Yeah.
Okay, on to tomorrow's games.
Yeah, let's do a deep dive into Miami and Cleveland. I mean,
all right, we'll do that one.
What the hell are we gonna get a deep dive for that for?
Nah, look, man.
I'll be being sarcastic on that one.
I thought you were serious. I'm over here like that's like saying,
I ain't that. Come on, man.
Look, with that one, with the games tonight, right? Let's go ahead and preview that one. Cavs Heat 7:30 Eastern tip off in that one. Cavs up 3-0. They are on the road in Miami, so the fans are going to be just hoping and praying for a win. Do they get one? I don't think so. I think Cleveland sweeps. Anyone object?
No, the only thing I just want to say on this series here is just how much I do appreciate Tyler Herro. That guy is a dog, man. I would love to have a guy like Tyler Herro on the Rockets. I really would. He can't win the whole damn thing by himself. But geez, man, what I've seen from Tyler Herro in this series, I really like this guy. I mean, he is definitely could be a part of a big three, in my opinion, on any team, you know. And I would love for him to be with the Rockets, but that was just a big thing I took away from this. How much I appreciate Tyler Herro's game out of all this.
I think Cleveland sweeps, but I also think that the Miami Heat fans are kind of like the Giant fans. That they just talk and live in the past. They're probably gonna be there at the game with their eyes closed, wishing and praying, and you know, God, I wish we can go back in time of the big three of the Bosh, Wade, and LeBron James days. Man, those were the days where the Miami Heat were always in the finals, win or lose. But now, you about to get swept, kids. I feel sorry for all. Honestly, like I feel sorry for all those kids that are rocking Miami Heat jerseys right now because they're growing up like, I'm a Heat fan. Oh my God, Daddy, we're in the playoffs. But now they're like, oh, Daddy, what's a sweep? I don't know, son. I'm still living with the LeBron, Bosh, and Wade era days.
I still have my Mario Chalmers jersey hanging up. Like that's what we're going for.
That's why I still come to the game with my Birdman jersey, son.
Oh God, the Chris Anderson joint. Oh, hey, well, Glenn, you won the deep dive in this one, so floor is yours.
Oh, I was joking about that, but if any team is going to of all the potential blowouts and sweeps of the NBA playoffs, any team that could potentially steal one, besides Orlando, obviously already, is Eric Spoelstra in Miami Heat. So don't be surprised if Miami wins tonight.
Yeah, if I'm sorry, Logan. If Miami wins, they're doing what Boston is doing. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. Listen, there's no way that Cleveland should lose this series and lose this series. No. But they should not let Miami win one game in this series. They really should.
Don't let them get back into it because they can be really streaky.
But if they let Miami win tonight, I swear to you, Logan, Jay, and Glenn, they're doing what Boston is doing. We're gonna take Miami, bring them back to Cleveland. We're gonna smoke them in Cleveland just so they can have a long plane ride home back to Miami. And you know what's funny? Funny is one team's got to fly to Orlando, the other team got to fly to Miami. They might as well share a plane together.
We'll just hey guys, you want to split this cap?
We'll split the fare? We'll drown in our sorrows together. We both lost in 5.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the last one here. Jay, you get the floor in this one. It's your boys, the Rockets, taking on the Golden State Warriors. Currently, Golden State up 2-1 in that series. Do you even it up?
Where's SGA?
SGA.
Oh yeah, he's
home right now. SGA's at home right now with a cocktail, probably.
No, you wasn't here.
No, it's a fan. It goes by SGA.
Oh, okay.
Here's my thing on this, man. I don't know. Does anybody know if Butler's playing?
I doubt it.
I think it hasn't listed
it's a game time decision.
Yeah, he's game time decision. I
don't think he's going to play.
Well, here's the thing. I really kind of mad because, like I said, I do want to go up against the best, and the fact that he's not out there really does kind of make me mad. But it is what it is. I can't control that. But what I can control is, look. Here's the thing. They lost last night. They didn't even have Butler. The Rockets lost last night, and there was no Butler out there. You know, Steve Kerr, I got to give him his flowers, man. He made great adjustments to get the right guys out there. Kuminga obviously showed up in place of Butler and had a pretty good game. My thing was this, that Jalen Green, listen, man, we live and die by you. We really honestly do. You are our leading scorer. And when Jalen Green doesn't show up, the Rockets don't win. That's just the way it goes. And Jalen Green showed up in the second game for 38 points plus, and we beat him by 20. I understand they didn't have Butler, but I think even with Butler, we were going to win that game. We were just really playing our top basketball. They've got to win tonight. Jalen Green is the absolute key component to a Rockets win or loss. If Jalen Green shows up and balls out and plays like he did in game 2, the Rockets will go back to Houston up or tied at 2 apiece. If Jalen Green doesn't show up, then it's just done. It's going to go 3-1 in favor of Golden State. That's just the way that's going to play out.
Yeah, you never want to go down 3-1. I mean, we've seen that for 90% of the teams here, right, that we've talked about today. They're down 3-1. And usually once you get to that, it's pretty much all but done. 9 times out of 10. But Glenn, we'll go to you next, man. Do the Rockets even it up, or does Golden State end up going 3-1 even without Butler, it appears?
Be easy on Jay.
I saw something in the Golden State win the other night and I mentioned it to Jay. Golden State is really outshooting them right now, and I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, I mean, if they obviously, the Warriors are a good shooting team.
That's it.
That's just their identity.
That's it, Glenn.
Yeah.
That was like a shot to Jay. Jay, that was like a shot, real quick.
I gotta be honest, man.
I mean, really, you say out shooting, but really, what we're talking about when we say out shooting is that Steph Curry was on another plane last night, just like he always is. When you let Steph Curry get going, Steph Curry gets going. That's just what it is. But also, what you have to understand is Houston is a bunch of playmakers. We don't have true 3-point threats, right? You can say Dylan Brooks will get you some threes, and he has. Van Fleet will get you a couple here and there, but we don't actually have a true 3-point threat. I thought Reed Shepherd, they'd play him because he really is our quote-unquote 3-point threat, but he just doesn't get in the playing experience. But honestly, we're a bunch of playmakers, which is what if you look at the Rockets are built upon the paint. We are all about the paint. We will out-rebound you. We will out-get points to the paint with you, and that's our strength. Our strength is not at the 3-point line. And when the Rockets start trying to go to the 3-point line, that's the first indicator to me that we're going to have a hard time trying to win this game. And it's vice versa. When Golden State tries to go to the paint, I know we got them. We got them 10 times out of none. Because they keep.
And that's why I mentioned that
when Golden State starts hitting their balls at the 3-point range, that's when I know we're in trouble. So it really depends on who can get going. Does the Rockets get going in the paint, or does Golden State get going at the 3-point arc? That's really what determines that game.
And
that's one of the reasons why I said from the get-go, Jay, and I want to see Rockets do well. It's like I want to see the Lakers do well, unless it's the Pacers, but that's beside the fact.
What's wrong with you, man?
It's just a bad matchup.
What's wrong with you, man?
It's just a bad matchup for you guys, honestly. So,
all right, and Frankie, what you think, man? Do the Rockets get back on track here, or do they go down 3-1?
I mean, it's really tough to say. Like Jay said, it's a hit and miss sometimes with the Rockets. But I never bet against Steph Curry, and it's not a knock to Jay. It's not a knock to the Rockets. I think there are a good young squad team over there. Definitely got a good leader in their coach in Idaka. But it's Steph Curry, man. You cannot. And I said this to Jay many times. Like, you can have a guard in his face, and he would just lob that ball up, and it will just somehow, some way. It's like the Angels in the outfield instead they're on the court, right? Like, they're carrying
the ball into it.
Like, yeah, they're just carrying because let's really look at it. When he throws it, he's lobbing up in the air. It doesn't hit backboard. It doesn't hit rim. No. It's always going straight through the net. Oh, nothing but net, nothing but water. And it's like, how? Like, just how? But Jay's right.
He just has good form. He's got that muscle memory. When he shoots it, that ball, he don't even think about it. His arm just naturally knows what to do every time. And, and that's why he's so good. He off balance, inverted balance. It doesn't matter. The dude has it's just the way he shoots the ball. He's a natural pure shooter. And that's just the way it is with that guy. I really believe, look, here's the thing. And whether the Rockets get past or don't get past, that's really, to me, that's irrelevant. What's relevant for me for the Rockets is they have got to find a 3-point shooter in the draft or in free agency. I don't care. But if the Rockets ever get a good 3-point threat shooter, like a Robert Horry kind of guy, that's the difference. That's what's going to get the Rockets over the hump and into that next level of competition. Because right now they got plenty of playmakers. They got plenty of rebounders. They got plenty of defenders. We got all those bases covered. The only base that we don't have covered is a consistent 3-point sharpshooter. If we get that one position ever locked down, the Rockets will go all the way. I guarantee it.
And I think Houston knows that. Because let's be real, you guys are still kind of in a rebuild mode, but like right now, the rebuild mode is not complete.
It's
almost done, like you said. You got every piece.
Absolutely.
You guys had. you guys have every piece that you guys needed, but now all you need to look for is that 3-point threat.
Absolutely.
Keep up when you guys are down by points, right? You need to get that consistent 3-point threat, and you guys are gonna get it. You guys are gonna get it.
Just
No
gotta
doubt
wait.
about it. You just
They just gotta tweak that roster. If they just get that one more positional guy, then we're in that next level of competition. Like Golden State, man, they got Steph Curry is just a 3-point magnificent guy.
I mean, he's got the most all time, and then he's going to keep adding. You know what I mean? I mean, what can you say? He's got the most.
Bro, you hear him with a guy like Jimmy Butler. That's why I like Jimmy Butler so much. Jimmy Butler, he's the guy that goes to the paint. He's the guy that does that. But what makes Jimmy Butler so good and such a great person is he's a great teammate. He looks to pass just as much as he looks to shoot, and that's why him and Steph are like perfect for each other, because when the shot's not there for Jimmy going to the paint, he kicks it out, Steph knocks it down. When it's not there for Steph, Jimmy will take it to the paint and knock it down. I mean, those guys are simpatico, man, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. It's crazy.
Yeah, they work well together, but like I said, we don't even know if Jimmy's going to play. That's going to be a game time decision.
Listen, I just want to quickly say I think Golden State wins this game tonight. I think Houston does go down 3-0.
In 3-1.
3-1, yes. I'm sorry, 3-1. But if that does happen, Jay, it's going to be really sad because both our teams are down 3-1, and we expected more out of our. We expected more out of our team.
Together, at least y'all made it in the club.
Well, technically, Logan. I was going to say this: if you guys lose tonight, I need the Lakers to win so bad on Wednesday because
just so you can one up them.
I do not want my team to get eliminated before Jay's.
Okay. If we
get eliminated the same round, it's cool. But if his team could get eliminated before mine, then I'll feel better because when we talk trash to each other, I can say, hey, listen, we got eliminated at the same time. But
you know what? Here's the deal, Frankie. Here's the deal. And this is what separates the two of us. This is why that's why I won't ever get too offended by it. The fact of the matter is, you're an older team that really doesn't have a lot going for you after this round. You really don't, honestly. You got Luka, great, but you don't have a lot going for you. The problem is, last year I was a play-in. No, I wasn't even in the play-in. Matter of fact, last year I was out of the play-in. This year I'm at number 2. I get one more guy, just one more tweak. My trajectory right now is still sky high. Your trajectory, seriously, your window is very, very closed or closing.
Not really.
And really, in all honesty, really kind of Golden State's window, honestly, is closing. Because look, let's be honest. Draymond's not getting younger. That dude's got enough gray in his beard to be Santa Claus. And it's not like Seth Curry years old is getting younger either. So really, you got kind of Jimmy Butler, who's still kind of mid-30s, mid to high 20s. So that team's window is even kind of closing. You're about to lose 2 of the Dub brothers and just be left with Jimmy. So the Golden State Warriors are really in win now mode because their window is vastly closing, and soon he will hang it up.
I don't think the Lakers window is closing. I think we just need a true big man in that center position. We need a rim protector. We need a big guy. We need a guy who can get our rebounds offensively, defensively, and a guy that can block shots in the paint. I feel like if we could get that one person, we should have had that person in Mark Williams. We would have been more dominant, but we're good now. I feel like we're good now. The LeBron window is definitely closing. I know that for sure. That's definitely.
At least you got Luka to help, lead the charge afterwards.
It's not only Luka. I also believe in Austin Reeves still. Yeah, he hasn't shown up in the playoffs yet, but I still believe in him, and he's a young stud, undrafted free agent young stud.
Yeah, AR-15, White James Harden. Next topic.
That's our last topic. Also, the White James Harden's kind of crazy. I don't know where you got that one from.
No, I said that because Harden typically fades out in the playoffs. Great regular season, fades in the playoffs.
He's never done that in the playoffs. He's been in the playoffs three straight seasons. We seen what he did against Golden State last year. We seen what he did against Memphis the year before. Listen, I'm cool. I'm cool with Austin Reeves. This year around, I feel like it's more like I don't know what's going on with Austin, but I feel like it's more like because Luka and LeBron. I feel like once LeBron leaves, it's going to be Luka and Austin Reeves' team.
We'll we'll see. And of course, we'll be here to cover all of it. But
yeah, we will, baby. Hey, yo, Lakers in 7. Ant-Man, Batman, Superman, Lakers in 7.
And you heard it there first. Well, for Jay McLovin, for Fox, for Frankie C, and of course for Big Glenn coming in today, I've been your host, producer, Logan Landers. Guys, this has been the afternoon show for today, Monday, April 28th. Come back tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern, for the Tuesday edition. So until next time, we'll see